more than 2.5 million people across the U.S. march against President Trump, with millions more showing solidarity across the world. An estimated 1 million people took to the streets of Washington, D.C. to protest against new President Donald Trump, with more than 2.5 million demonstrating across the country, joined by hundreds more marches around the globe. Washington, D.C., Chicago, Boston and Philadelphia were among the first cities in America to kick off the women's marches on Saturday, one day after Trump's inauguration. Sister marches were held in more than 600 cities around the world. In Trump's hometown of New York, the crowd, estimated at about 400,000, filled the streets. In Los Angeles, 750,000 demonstrators were estimated to have turned out. Pink pussy hats, knitted beanies with cat ears, became the accessory of the march in reference to Trump's quote, "grab her by the pussy." The District of Columbia officials said the sheer volume of people in Washington, D.C. meant that there could not be a formal march from the protest stage near the Capitol in D.C. because the planned route was filled with hundreds of thousands of protesters physically unable to move. The crowd moved toward the Ellipse, an area of the National Mall in front of the White House. The sight in D.C. was in stark contrast to the crowd that watched Trump take the oath of office. The National Mall was filled to brim on Saturday with women. John Kerry, who served as Barack Obama's Secretary of State until this week, walked his dog alongside marchers on Pennsylvania Avenue. Trump got a view of the protesters in Washington, D.C. from the window of his limo. His motorcade was on its way back to the White House from a prayer service when he passed several prominent groups of protesters. As he crossed one intersection, cars started honking loudly. Initial figures from transportation officials in Washington suggest more people may be on the National Mall for the Women's March than came for Trump's inauguration. As of 11 a.m. Saturday, 275,000 people had taken trips on the city's subway system. On Inauguration Day, 193,000 trips had been taken as of that time, and the rail system opened an hour earlier that day, at 4 a.m. Saturday's ridership figures were more than 8 times a normal Saturday and busier than most weekdays. In addition, some 1,800 buses were registered to park in the city. Greyhound reported adding more buses from New York. And a commuter rail system in Washington added 5 times its normal capacity to help deal with the crowds. One person traveling to attend the march revealed Saturday morning that all the rest stops had been packed with buses heading to D.C. "Our driver said he's never seen anything like this before," they added. Lines to buy metro tickets in D.C. stretched past blocks as protesters flooded the stations and trains as they made their way to the march.